Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back with another episode of Hobby Side. And on this episode we are taking another look at our Necromunda Terrain that we use for our Underhive Wars Battle Reports here on the channel. And as you can see here, we're just looking at a regular table. We just got done playing a game of Necromunda on this one. And this one we actually have some brand new terrain pieces that our resident terrain wizard Iron Major made for us. And as you can see here, we actually have some pretty cool looking things. We have some shanties for like a Sump Town type build for some of the things that were created. We have a chemical dirty water well that the people of Necromunda use. It's a combination of well as a sewer, I guess. We have this fuel tank tower that was created by Iron Major as well. And then finally we have two more shanties over here that we're going to take a look at, as well as these gangplanks that you can see here that are connecting these gangplanks, as well as these ladders that each of these shanties use as well. So we got a lot of terrain to show off today. We're talking about exactly how they were made, the design concept, and how we use them in our battles of Necromunda. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing we're going to start off with is this fuel cell tower. Alright, so the very first terrain piece we're going to talk about is this fuel tank tower, as you can see here. This is a fuel tank tower that Iron Major has created for us on this channel to use as a terrain piece. This is a fuel tank tower that belongs to the MCI Chemical Works. For those of you guys who watched the channel for a while now, you guys are very familiar with the MCI Chemical Works. We have several terrain pieces that are actually dedicated to our battle reports that we use for that. The Metro Chemical Industries is what we call that company. And as you can see here, this is a really highly detailed, excellent piece of wargaming terrain. This thing is just so awesome. It's full of character and everything else. It's just freaking amazing the way this thing looks as well. It is very, very awesome the way that Iron Major kind of put this together. And the cool part about this is he basically made this out of just spare bits and bobs for the most part. Really didn't really buy much of anything in order to make this terrain piece. Not really, so it's actually really cool. So let's go ahead and talk about exactly what this is actually made out of. So first of all, let's talk about the base real quick. I'll just give you a little turn around here so that we can see the edges here. So as you can see here, the base of the miniature, actually the terrain piece, actually sits on a piece of MDF board. It's actually not even MDF board, actually, it's just old shower board that Iron Major had lying around. And he just took a table saw real quick and just cut it to the dimensions that he needed to. And then he grinded down the corners to round them off as well. And then from there, what he decided to do is take some blue foam, insulation foam, which you guys should be very familiar with, and he basically cut the walls to make the perimeter of this chemical tower. All right, that's what he did. And then of course he gouged it with some hot wire pokers and used hot wire cutters to cut it to size, and he created some damage to it as well on the outside. Oops, kind of dropped that terrain piece here. Let me get that piece real quick. So then he just kind of damaged it up, and then he covered the entire thing with wood glue and water, and he proceeded to paint it with gray paint and dry brush with various colors of gray, and then of course added some brown and black wash. They just used some watered down, black and white, black and brown paint in order to create that. A lot of dust and sand and rocks and stuff were used to create all the pieces of rubble and detritus that is scattered all over the place on the terrain feature. And that's how I went about making that. Now the actual ladder and things of that nature, let's go and talk about that real quick. The frame of this is actually wood, is what it is. It's actually just square pieces of balsa wood that he cut to size, and then he glued in smaller pieces of balsa wood, as you can see here, to make the supports, X-beams going across it. So that's how he made the superstructure. And then of course he just painted it as well. These signs, if you're wondering what those are, he just actually just printed up those signs that he just downloaded off the internet, just printed those up and glued them on and washed them and dirtied them up a little bit as well. And then from there, he created the top of the base. Now I'm going to take off the fuel tank so that way you guys can see exactly what it consists of. So here is the inside of it, alright? So the bottom of the base is actually made out of just granny wiring as well as cardboard for the most part. And he put a PVC pipe in the center of it, as well as this kind of extended pipe joint thing that he got out of the dollar store. to kind of actually make the pipe. Now the actual base that this sits on, this is actually blue installation foam, as you can see here, and the reason why he got it so smooth cutted is because he used a Promethean foam cutter that he got, and he used that to create the base. And same thing with the edge. If you look at the edge here, it's exactly the same thing. He just took really thin slices of blue foam using his Promethean cutter to make the circular frame that goes around the retaining wall for this, and that's exactly what he did. And then for the hazard stripes, he took masking tape and he colored it with yellow and black and just made the hazard striping going around it. The mesh on the top is the cross stitch grading that we talk about. We call it granny grading. You can buy it in plastic sheets for very, very cheap at Hobby Lobby. That's what he used to make all the decking and stuff. And as for the rim, the fencing around, he just used wire mesh that he bought from like Lowe's or Hobby Lobby or whatever, and just kind of, you know, cut it to size and made it look all screwed up and dinged up as well. Now, as for the ladder that you see here, the ladder, of course, is made out of balsa wood. It's also made out of matchsticks or just smaller pieces of popsicle sticks that he cut up to make the ladder. Now, if you're wondering what this cage is made out of, the cage is actually made out of plastic hair rollers. You know, like the pink hair rollers that you see that people wear sometimes to curl their hair. All he did is he just cut it in half real fast and spread it open, then he glued it on the outside of the cage and he painted it up accordingly. Now, if you're wondering about the tank that we use, we'll put the tank right back on top here. The fuel tank itself is actually an old Christmas ornament from a dollar store is what it is. In fact, let me flip it over real quick so you can see it. Just a simple plastic Christmas ornament. He just spray painted it silver, then he covered it with grime and stuff and washed to make it look all grimy and nasty. He made a little stencil here for the fuel tank number. On the top, he took an old tank turret hatch from an old tank model kit and just put on the top there to make the hatch. And then the ladder here that you see that curved up along it, it's the same exact wire meshing that he used to make the fencing out of. So if you want to know how he did that, that's pretty much how he did it for the materials that he used to create this. And it's just a lot of time, trial and error, and just work and effort went into making this as well. He also made these kind of cool little like improvised shelters as well. So you get like these situations, we got like these wooden pallets that he made out of balsa wood and popsicle sticks and stuff, and tongue depressors. And he took some corrugated cardboard that we found from our local grocery store. And if you're wondering where the corrugated cardboard came from, grocery stores sometimes sell foil packets of tuna fish. You guys ever seen those? Like StarKist makes them like in little foil packets. Well, they're held into place by sheets of corrugated cardboard. That's how they keep those packets to keep standing in those boxes. All we did is we took the corrugated sheets out of it and just asked the grocery store if we could have them. And the grocery store clerk had no problem with us selling it to us, so that's how I did that. And the top, of course, is just rock, sand, bits of cardboard and stuff, and just glue. And you just paint it together to make the rubble. So that's how I went about making that. The exact same process went to making this little ledge here. Same thing with this little improvised corrugated tin roof. It's just balsa wood and corrugated cardboard and paint. It did exactly the same thing with this little improvised roof as well, using granny grading to make it look really neat. What I really love about this piece is all the battle damage that's on it. Like I said, every single time I look at these terrain pieces, it's just amazing how Iron Major does all the terrain pieces with the spalding and the damage and stuff. Like you can literally see like a rocket launcher going up here just blowing apart that rim there and screwing up the fencing at the same time. Just a very, very cool piece of terrain that Iron Major made for his fuel cell. So yeah, that is the fuel cell. The next piece we're going to take a look at here is the water well that we're going to take a look here. Alright, so the next terrain piece we're looking at is the well, is what we kind of call it for the most part. It's this nasty looking chemical refuge thing that Iron Major kind of put together real quick. It's really, really awesome as well. As you can see, the cool things about this piece is actually all the little pieces of detail that's on it as well. It's supposed to represent that there's like a crater where some like water has bubbled up to the surface that the people use in this town to wash their clothes with, to dump their stuff in and maybe drink out of. We don't know. We don't really want to think about it too much. But yeah, and he just basically has it right next to a concrete pillar that he put like a little crow's nest on the top of with the ladder. And the ladder, if you take a real close look at it, it's just made out of balsa wood and matchsticks is what it is. And just a lot of glue, time, patience, and effort. It's really, really lightweight as well. So he made a ladder for that. In fact, he made a bunch of ladders for the shanties that we have here. So if you zoom in real close here, you can see like the ladder is a little poster there. And up here on the top, you have the crow's nest that he built. He's got wiring and stuff like that. These are just like pieces of paper clip and floral wire. The I-beams are actually made out of plastic signage. We talked about that. You know, a lot of political signs are made with this stuff. So you just cut into thin strips and you can use that to make your little I-beams and things. We got bits of wire and cardboard to make the signs and scrap pieces of planks of wood and stuff. It just looked really cool. We got some graffiti on one poster with, you know, FTE, as in F-bomb the Emperor. We got this little crow's nest here that's made out of I-beams and cardboard and things and wood. It just looks really cool. And the liquid inside, of course, is just water with gloss, clear gloss that was put on top of it to make it look like all slimy and stuff. Now the clothing line, if you wonder what this clothing is made out of, it's just made out of some scrap fabric that Iron Major had lying around that he just cut and stained up and hung it over the line to make it look like these guys are doing their laundry on this thing as well. So yeah, if you want to know what it's made out of here on the bottom, it's just a CD that's right there that we use as a slide to base on to slide everywhere. It's made out of styrofoam, as you can see right there. Just a big piece of styrofoam that he cut up with some with a X-Acto knife and using hot wire cutters to make it look all grimy. Same thing with the pillar. The pillar is just a piece of blue styrofoam as well that he just kind of glued there on the side and just made the entire thing. And of course he just glued with wood glue, water, sand, paint, wash. That's all he did to make this really cool looking piece of terrain. Very, very awesome. So with that being done, the last thing we take a look now is our shanties. We actually have 4 shanties. We have this one here, that one back there with the gun march sign. We got these 2 over here, and we also got that small little shack in the back. And we're going to talk about those next. Alright, and the last thing we're going to talk about real quick are the shanties. These are the little sheds and shacks and improvised living structures, the homesteads of the Underhive, if you will. And Iron Major has made 4 of these bad boys for us to use. And they are really cool. They got this kind of ramshackled, kind of Fallout looking vibe to them, the way that he built it. So it looks really, really awesome. And these things are incredibly detailed for terrain pieces. And they just look freaking amazing when you put them on the battlefield as well. The design scheme for these were actually really cool. Just want to make it look like it was kind of like ramshackled together. And like, you know, it's like what the residents of Sump Town would live in. You know, it makes it look like they're made out of combination of concrete, scrap metal, scrap wood, you know, signage from the different signs and stuff that people found in the Underhive, and they just kind of cobbled it all together to kind of make their homes out of. And it's really, really awesome and very, very highly detailed as well. And the cool thing about each of these buildings is that the roofs are removable as well, so you can actually have fighters going inside of it. So we're actually going to start off with the very first one. This is the gun march shanty. And as you can see here, it's just highly detailed. It's got that little door there. It looks like it's grating. He's got signage as well on these things. As you can see here, it's a 10mm submachine gun from Fallout. To make the signs, Iron Major just went online, just downloaded a bunch of different signage that he could find. Images online. Old school images, like these ones here. And he just kind of cut them out and glued them on there to make the building. Just showing you all 4 sides of this building real quick. So you can see here we got the same kind of combination of styrofoam that Iron Major uses to build his shanties. So that way you can see that the concrete walls make it look like they got blasted apart and stuff. The idea behind this is that it was supposed to be like as if the Underhivers had found like these concrete foundations and they just kind of, you know, added walls to them to actually kind of live inside of. So you can see we got some more corrugated cardboard as well. And like I said before, the roofs are also removable as well, so you can take the roof off. And inside you can actually put fighters inside. You can see there's more posters inside of it as well. Just typical combination of MDF boards as well as styrofoam, I-beams, wire mesh, paint, glue, sand. Same kind of concept going on here as well. As you can see there, you can see the superstructure, how it's made out of concrete, and then the Underhive just kind of like, you know, cobbled together some things to, you know, create that. At the same time, a lot of construction went into making the roofs as well. So you can see he's got corrugated cardboard. On the bottom here, he's got some balsa wood beams that he made. He painted up real quick and got that added on. And you can see that we have a piece of cardboard to make the wood and the signs and things. And he just kind of glued together, and of course he washed it all with different shades of, you know, brown wash and black washes. He's also used some orange paint to make rust effects. So it looks really, really cool as well. So that is the gun mart building. This one here, we call it this 2-story building. And as you can see here, it's just the same kind of construction technique. If you're wondering where the wanted posters came from, they actually came from Necromunda.com. They got some images that you can download of wanted posters of different fighters and things. This one's double decker because you have a little shack on top of it. You actually have a ladder that we actually go right next to it as well. So that way you can take a look at it. Very Blade Runner with the Asian looking signs on there. So you can see here we got the roof here as well as the walls. So here's all 4 sides of it. So you can see here some more FTE, Anarchy symbols, some graffiti that Iron Major made using some Sharpie pins. And you can see that like a little other signage there for spark plugs. It's just very, very cool and just highly detailed. Just a lot of work and effort went into making these things. And once again, the roofs are also removable as well. So you have a little shack on the top here that you can put for the little shack here. And if you wanted to, you could also remove this roof as well. And you can see that the interior looks really, really cool as well. So that way you could put fighters inside of it. So that way they could be fighting it out and stuff. So overall, just a really cool piece of terrain going into that one as well. Let me go and put the signs back on this bad boy. All right, we'll move that one off to the side here. And this one is probably one of the coolest ones that Iron Major has made. So this one is very, very neat as well. Let me go ahead and get the signage on here. So you can see that we got the door and the keep out sign because you don't want to get shot. Some Nuka-Cola signs. This one we just basically call it the garage, the auto mechanic shop is what we call it, because of this side in here with the engine sign. You can see the roof has got more signage on it. It's anything with the corrugated cardboard. Once again, just concrete walls have been blasted apart, and that the enterprising Underhivers have repaired and made a life out of it. You can see a little recruiting poster for Arcadia before Arcadia was destroyed by the 13th Black Crusade. And the really cool feature about this one is actually kind of neat because inside of it, it actually has a oven. We're going to show that real quick to you. So let me go and put it here to the front and take the roof off. So this one was really neat because Iron Major decided to add some furniture inside this one. He decided to add a little stove. So you can see here in the top, we got a little piece of stovage here, right here. Now, if you're wondering what that little barrel is made out of for the stove, it's just a piece of, like sometimes you get items from Amazon that got little salt shaker looking things that are actually full of dehydrant to make sure it stays, dry inside, not moisture. That's all he did. He took one of those things, put some grating on the top of it, and he attached a straw, just your typical bendy drinking straw, to it to make the smokestack. And once again, he's got I-beams crossing inside of it to make it look like you can go inside and you can actually fight. So that one is really, really cool. Let me put this down real fast and then get this one put off to the side. So this is the engine garage that we call it. And the last one, of course, is another shack. As you can see, we got some more signage there. There's a door right there that says keep out. We got some Asian-looking courier signs. Kind of a very much like a Blade Runner vibe going on there. You can see the walls on that one. It's just all this detail on it. You could actually just stare at these things for literally for hours, and you can find brand new things on this thing that you didn't notice before. And of course, the roof also comes out. Balsa wood for the framing and corrugated cardboard for the roof. And there's the interior shot as well. He's also got posters inside of them as well. Just very, very cool pieces of terrain that Iron Major made for us. So yeah, very, very cool. Alright, so that's good to do for this one, you guys. We got our 4 shanties, as well as our fuel tower over here as well. And you guys will be seeing these pieces a lot more in the upcoming battle reports from Necromunda as well, because we're doing It Came From The Sump kind of little mini campaign going on for our next round for our campaign for the Sector 7 Turf War, with the new rules set dropping for the Book of Ruin. There's a lot of multiplayer rule sets that are kind of like this horror theme to it. So we're probably going to use those for a couple of rounds. That way you guys can see some entertainment value in that. And my friends are really excited about trying out those scenarios as well. And we're going to use the shanties a lot in order to do those videos. So we're looking forward to that as well. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news on this channel. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, you guys, and stay classy.